Alright. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so if you're seeing this video, you're probably Dan or someone else at the gym. You know, maybe you're new to the gym, or you're new, you're at college and you're asking me questions. One, how do I get your physique? How do I look like that? What are you doing? Can you make me a meal plan? These meal plan questions do get a little bit annoying. So I'm making a video to briefly explain what calories are so that I don't have to do it for you. And I will also make other videos that will explain, I will do other videos that could explain how to bulk up better, how to cut better, how to feel full during a cut, or how to, get the best pump, things of that nature, so that I can avoid these questions in person, because I don't really like them, to be honest. Okay, so starting with, right, calories in, calories out is always correct. Now I know you might think, oh, it's, maybe it's water weight, or maybe you think to yourself, I don't really eat that much, something along those lines. I used to think that too. I was wrong. Everyone's wrong. The more you look into it, the more you find calories in versus calories out is the truth. It works. Now for women, it's a little bit confusing because you can be in a caloric deficit and you think, it's not working for me, look at me, it's not working. What are you talking about? Clearly you don't know what you're talking about. I do. Now, in certain circumstances, for women that are going through menopause, for example, or premenopause, or even certain points during their cycle, right, your body holds more water weight. And when it does this, it gives you the idea that you are not losing weight. But if you just stick to the calories, once that week's over, or those few days, or that 2 weeks for some people, it'll go and you will see the change that you've made. You just got to trust the process. The most important part is trusting the process. You'll get anywhere with consistency. It works incredible. You just need to stick with it. So here's what calories are. The basics is it's energy. It's like fuel, right? Now, your body requires fuel for everything. Every time you blink, every breath, every time you move your tongue, your fingertip, you look down, you look to the side, you walk, everything requires energy. Even thinking requires this energy. And the body gets its energy from calories. Now, you don't realize that you're overeating. I'm terrible for it too. That's why I need to cut. I'm a bit out of shape, as you can see. Alright? But the basics is you have a certain amount of caloric limit per day. Now for each person this may vary, but on average it's around 2,200, give or take. Alright? So just stick with that to start with. Now the easiest way to understand it better is this, right? This, for example. 2 of these sachets are 300 calories. Right? Now out of 2,000, that's not bad. But then if you get a family packet of Doritos, those are 900 calories. It's in the little things like that you don't realise. It's never in the, oh yeah, I only had like a microwave pizza, for example. People think it's food like that, or it's pizza, or it's burgers that have made you overweight. It's not. Alright? 9 out of 10, you are not going over your caloric limit with them alone. It's the other stuff that you don't realise you're eating. And remember, calories in, calories out, you do it on a day-to-day basis, but it works as an overall. So how many calories have you had throughout the week? How many calories have you had throughout the month? That's how it works. The body's going to store as much as it can. So you need to lose as much as you can. The less energy you have, the more your body can tap into another energy source. This will be your body fat, for example, or your muscle if you're not careful and you do it too far. And muscle's a lot easier for it to take, but that's a completely other video. I'll do that later on. Alright? So the basics, what I recommend for calorie apps, for losing calories or understanding calories, there's a creator named TNF or Scientific Snitch. These two are probably the pinnacle of what it is to understand calories in, calories out, to understand how it works, why it works, what it does. If you like the science side, you know, from the molecular biological perspective, Scientific Snitch is your girl. If you're an everyday person, like most people, fucking TNF is easier. It's a lot simpler, right? He's a great creator, but it's a lot simpler. You don't have to worry about how it works, why it works, etc. Alright? So I would recommend TNF. I would also recommend an app called Macro Factor, I believe it's called. You get this app, and I recommend you use code TNF because it does give you a little discount. I don't have a code, that's why I'm plugging his code, because this is just for advice. This is for my friends, it's for people that happen to see it. If you happen to see it, thank you. But most people that are watching this are because I've sent you this video. So I recommend you use Macro Factor, you use code TNF, and I believe it costs like $10.99. Now I know that can seem a bit much for just a silly app, but it will change everything. It will change your physique in such a short time. It even has AI, so if you can't weigh the food, like I have a weighing scale but it's broken, so if you can't weigh the food, you can take a picture of it on AI and then you can describe the meal and it will give a rough estimation of what it is, how much it weighs, etc, 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 and you can log that into your food journey straight away. It's super easy. It makes a giant difference. And if you weigh yourself, I weigh myself on the 18th every month, and if you weigh yourself periodically and you add that into the app, it will adjust the calories for you, so you don't have to go on Google or go on YouTube and learn your macro factors and stuff like that. The app does it all for you. I think it's the go. Honestly, I use it. I've tried a bunch of other apps like counting calories, you know, my Fitness Pal, stuff like this. It never works. It never works. Sometimes it can be too difficult. Sometimes because we're in the UK, they don't have a lot of our stuff. It's a whole thing. I don't really like it. Macro Factor works pretty well though. Anyway, that's what I would recommend you use, but if you have another use it. But the most important takeaway is understanding that calories in and calories out will always work. There is not an exception to the rule. People think, oh yeah, well my thyroid, not an exception to the rule. Calories in, calories out can still be accounted for that. Same thing with, you know, people are like, oh well I hold my water weight. You know, you don't hold water weight, you just don't realise what you're eating. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying you're a fat person doing fat people. I'm just saying that the way we have our food set up, it's tricky. They hide the calories. You don't realise how much you're eating on a day-to-day basis because it's not a lot, but it's so calorically dense. So, you know what I mean? You have to look out, and the best way to look out is to use an app like Macro Factor or any other app that you can think of, and you can scan it. You just scan the barcode or search the name in, something like that, and you will know whether it's good, whether it's bad, if you can afford it in your caloric limit or not. Stuff like that. It's way easier. I would recommend doing that. I get asked as well about vitamins and my training regimen and, you know, stuff like that, and what's the best. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do not have the best training regimen. My regimen is tailored towards me and my cousin, because my cousin has joint issues, so we need to tailor around that. And my nutrition, I'm more focused in on the calories in, calories out than I am the vitamins. Like if I'm gonna take vitamins, it's so that my skin goes, you know, like bronze. But otherwise, I don't really use vitamins. They are good, they're great for you. Protein and creatine as well, I'll do a whole video on supplements that you should take, ideally. A lot of them I don't take, and I'm not going to pretend I do. Alright? And it's not that I haven't took them. Every one that I recommend to you, I will have taken previously. Alright? And I will tell you what it was like, the effects that I had on it, why I recommend it. But most of them I don't take now. And that's not just because, you know, I'm lazy or whatever. I moved, as you can see. This is not where I'm from. I'm in student accommodation, so because of that, I can't afford the same luxuries that I could at that time. So anyway, the general consensus from this video is calories in, calories out is the rule. Now if you're on a cut, you should be aiming for around 1800 calories. This is the calories I recommend, not because it's a magical number or something like that, but because it's a clear number. You understand where you're getting, and you get results pretty quickly at this number. The only problem is if you do have a caloric deficit at 1800 calories, you will need to focus on like high protein to reduce the amount of muscle loss, so that you can focus more on the fat loss, because it's a lot easier for your body to take the protein than it is the fat. Fat takes a long time to be broke down. Alright, so I'd recommend that for a cut. For a bulk is interesting. I recommend around 2,800 to 3,000. I don't recommend going much higher than that. I don't recommend going much lower than that. But again, you know, you can get an app and it will tell you more about you specifically and how much you should take specifically. Be a lot more tailored to you. So I would recommend you do that. But yeah, that's the basics of calories. That's all it is. Calories are just a fancy way of saying energy. And if you don't have enough energy in your body, then your body uses fat or protein or whatever other energy sources it can use. If you tailor your diet right, then it will be predominantly fat. If you don't, it could be mostly protein. So you need to adjust it. But you get the general consensus. The same with the bulk. If your body's intake, your caloric intake is too much, you've got too much energy, then your body needs to store that energy because it can't use it, and it stores it in the form of fat. And that's all there is to it. If there's any other questions you want to know, if there's any other like drinks or food that you enjoy eating, or supplements that you've been considering taking, or regimens that you've been considering trying, just comment in the video. I'll look at them. There's like 4 people that follow, so I wouldn't worry too much about me not answering. I'll definitely answer, and I'll help you out. I've got no problem with helping people. I just don't like it when I'm walking around town and things of that nature. You know, I've got stuff to do. I'm a person. I get it. You're out of shape. I'm in kind of shape. You want advice on how to get in shape. It's admirable. I can respect it. Right? I was in that position. I was a lot worse than what I was. 120 kilogram at 15. Like, I was in a worse position than pretty much everyone you've ever met. But, you know, so it's weird being on this side. I can understand why you ask, but just ask me in the comments instead. That way I don't have to keep explaining myself in person. So thank you. Have a good day, and if there's any explanations or videos that you would like to see, drop a comment. Like I said, I'll respond to them all, and I'll publish one, I'll record one, or however you say it. Alright, have a good day.